You had your hand up, Osama? You had your hand up?
Yeah.
Well, go. You got to text and ask at the same time.
Yeah, I already did that.
Okay, Tahir.
I'm trying to understand why did Imam Nawawi bring the opinions of the other Imams when after those hadiths we just took, when it actually proves that their opinion is weaker. Like, why did he bring those opinions regarding after those ahadiths? In terms of Imam Malik said it's unlawful for you to pray behind the Imam who's sitting, and then where the other Shayukh said that if you're able to stand, you should stand. But the Sahaba, they were obviously standing, but the Prophet said,
طيب. Clear.
So why did he,
Clear.
after those ahadiths?
Barakallahu fikum. Crystal clear. Brief. The question is regarding why did Imam Nawawi mention the other views in light of the clarity of the dalil that the companions stood praying behind the Prophet ﷺ who was sitting down. In brief, first and foremost is this book here is considered to be a book in which he mentions the comparative views. Comparative fiqh. Just like you study comparative religion in college. It doesn't mean you have to believe in it. It doesn't mean that those other religions of faith are correct or even strong. But you want to specialize in something of comparison. So I learned the foundations of Christianity, Catholicism. I learned the foundations of the religion of the Jews, Judaism, so on and so forth. The Talmud, this, and that, Hindu. Just compare. It's like a professor. You go and you teach and you mention all of the opinions. This is their view, this is the dalil, kada. You pick, you choose. It doesn't mean that it's correct or strong or I agree with, but I'm giving you an assortment of things. Like all you can eat. You understand? All you can what? Adam start getting happy now. You may not like this dish, but it's there for you. For whoever wants it. This is the best dish. This is the finest dish. This is the best seafood. But you want other types in there as well. Because it's a what? A buffet. All you can eat. You want an entree? One thing, and then that's what you order. But brothers, they like to mix and match. I like to know what's out there on a buffet. So this is what we call al-fiqh al-muqaran. Comparative what? Fiqh. Let alone the fact that these different imams, as we said yesterday, we're reading and studying this from a distance. They lived over 1,000 years ago. Hadiths that were known, unknown, Imam Malik and the different system of his madhab. What the people of Medina did, what they said, whether it was wrong or right, but that was his way of looking at it. Everybody understand this? Are there other hadiths that prove that was specific to the Prophet ﷺ's time? The Prophet ﷺ says, don't stand up like the Persians and the Romans do. Everybody clear on this? That's in brief. Wallahu alam. We'll come back to you, inshallah. Abu Idris.
Sheikh, two-part question if you can, if you don't mind. The first one, if you're in a masjid and your kids are making a lot of noise, can they're back, you can't turn to them, and can you snap to get their attention, maybe to stop? And second is, what happens if something happens and it makes you laugh in the salah? Do you just continue, or do you have to restart it? Or?
With regards to bad kids in the masjid, a very common problem. It's part of life. And alhamdulillah, it's better for kids to be bad in the masjid than outside of the masjid. So, and very important is not to banish the kids from Allah's house, nor to criticize and discipline them in such a way in which they hate coming to the masjid, in which many people they do. The worst beatings they get in the what? In the masjid. The worst, the hollering that's worse is we're in the masjid. And then they eventually grow up what? Disliking the masjid. It's a balance. They are kids. Kids will be kids, but it is Allah's house. A 2-year-old is not like a 7-year-old. A 7-year-old is not like a 12-year-old. You're too big to be running crazy in the masjid. This is the house of Allah. Have some respect. If your father can't teach you, then I will. Everybody understand this? This is reality. But a 3-year-old kid, it's a different story. 4-year-old kid that has jumping beans in his pants, he can't sit still. It's one thing. Okay? But it's levels of the child and also what they're doing. A little running, a little talking is not like them breaking and throwing things down and going crazy. Watch the cup behind you. Going ballistic, as we say. Everybody understand this or not? So it has to be a fiqh. This is pertaining to the responsibility of the imams and the parents in the masjid. The kids should feel comfortable in the house of Allah. They should want to go to the masjid. For one reason or another. Whether it's incentives there or just the masjid. It's pizza at the masjid or it's just the masjid. And they should be welcomed in the house of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Everybody understand this? The hadith about keeping crazy people out the masjid and children out the masjid is totally false and fabricated. Of no authenticity whatsoever. And the madhab that states that crazy people are not allowed in the masjid, or children not allowed in the masjid, or women are allowed in the masjid, the madhab is totally weak. And then the Prophet's hadith clearly prove that there were people in the masjid of all types and sorts. Women and children, and the list goes on. Of course, with the proper etiquettes and the proper levels. Tayyib. As far as making a movement in Salah, it depends on how bad they're moving. If it's something that is unbearable, it's outstanding what they're doing, then perhaps the hadiths in which the companions did what? Hit their legs like that. One thing. Even if you snap, perhaps one could say that. But to the point in which you're moving like the dawabit I gave you, the principles, consistently, too much, back to back, that's a different story. And it depends, a child running around and a child actually wreaking havoc, going near a glass, something sharp. That's what? That's one thing. Clear? As far as laughing in the salah, it depends on how you laughed. If you laugh and it makes a clear, distinctive sound, as if it's kalam, then perhaps your prayer will be nullified. If you just like giggle, something crazy happening in the salah, which it does happen, is a reality, then that's one thing. You fight yourself, you stifle it, inshallah khair. The view that says that the laughing in the salah breaks the salah and breaks the wudu, the view of Abu Hanifa, is a totally false and rejected view based off of a hadith of terrible grade of authenticity. Wallahu alam.
A.M. Springfield, Virginia, George Mason University. A brother has spotted a particular sis at uni who seems aware of Allah. How should he approach her considering they don't talk or have class together?
A brother sees a sister at uni that seems to be conscious of Allah. How should he approach her? Wallahi, I can't give you no one answer. It depends on you and it depends on the sister. Some brothers are very shy, which is a good thing. Then that's one approach. Some brothers, mashallah, Sam Riyadh, be handsome brothers, mashallah, killer smile, young, strong, confident. Not saying that he is, just because he's, you're confident, but, you may be confident. That's a different what? Approach. What type of religious practice are you? You wearing a thobe, a beard, or you just a normal, it depends. There is no one answer. Sometimes it could say, give her a note. Or sometimes I would say, have a sister go and talk to her. Your classmate, Sister Rahima, can you go talk to Sister Faiza, for example? Tell Sister Faiza, I want to marry her. Or I'm interested in talking to her father. Everybody understand this? It depends on the what? There is no one form for your plane of attack. And this is very important because if you stick to one rigid form, you may blow the opportunity. Sister may be extremely shy. You go up to her, she may just blush, crush, and melt. She'll never ever talk to you. There may be a time in which you send someone and she feels disrespected. Or she looks at you as a weak brother. Why you couldn't say it to my face, Aki? This is a reality. So my answer is it has to be based off of the situation. It has to be based off the what? Water has no what? It has no form. It takes the form of its receptacle. Water takes the form of its what? Receptacle. Whatever is in, that's what water becomes. And that's how you have to judge and evaluate the situation. If you're too shy, always play it safe. Write a note, send it to someone, leave a book, something like that. Send an agent to go get her. But if you feel, inshallah, and that also depends on what you feel that she feels about you. If you have strong intuition, Riyadh, you feel like, I think Sister Faiz is feeling me. I think so. I may be wrong, but I think what? She's interested in getting married too. I heard some things. She's interested. She comes from a good family. We were in the lunchroom that time. She caught an extra gaze. The day when I was wearing the sweatshirt with the Scully, I think she may be interested. Then that's one thing. What's important is that when you make your approach to Sister Faiza, make sure it's respectable and honorable. And you look at her as your sister in Islam. How would you want somebody approaching your daughter? How would you look at someone approaching your sister? Everybody understand? See, that's the extremism now. That's the ghulu. And that's the problem of the what? The Muslims today. If no one was ever approached, you wouldn't be sitting here today, Abu Idris. It's a harsh reality that fathers of daughters must realize. My baby girl, sweet, alhamdulillah, that your wife was once somebody's what? Baby girl. And you took her and snatched her from her father's nest. It's life. It's what? It's life. So no real respectable Muslim man is going to get offended at a man coming at his daughter honorably. Honorably, with respect. There's no funny business. I'm not staring at you. Can I get your father's number? Kada, kada. What? Honorably. But someone like Abu Idris, get away. A'udhu billah. Astaghfirullah. But she goes to college. And in most cases, most of the sisters in college today, not all, what do they wear? What's the hijab like, Khalid? All black, navy blue? No. Makeup, this, that, tight. So everyone looks at your daughter, lusts off of your daughter, but a good, respectable brother asks for her hand in marriage, and you disrespected my daughter. That's pathetic. So the fathers need to fear Allah. Need to what? And we don't have time to get into the lecture of the calamity of marriage today in the Western countries, especially with Muslims that come from backgrounds of other countries. That's a huge problem today, and we know what is the effect of it on the Muslim youth. Brothers can't get married, sisters can't get married. Situation that we're in 2017. So it depends on the situation. Maybe you ask her, maybe you say something to her, maybe you send someone, maybe you go to her father. It depends on the situation. Wallahu alam. This will be our last question, Riyadh.
Me?
Yes.
So how far can one move in the salat? Like for example,
We answered that question. We gave the guidelines to that question. Not too much based off of necessity. There is no one rule. There is no 3 steps, 5 steps. One is no rule. What's important is that it's a necessity, and it's something which is slight and respectable, and it's something that if someone saw you, they would think that you're praying. And not if they saw you, they know that you're not praying. You took 10 steps consecutively. The person who sees you from a distance say this person is walking and no longer what? Praying. You took 1 step, you moved over to the right, you did this, your hands are up. Someone say he's what? Praying. There's a difference. Even when you're scratching and moving, he said he don't have khushu'. He's looking around, but he clearly said he's what? Praying. Now the person is just. They're going to say this guy is not what? Praying. So that's the dabit, the regulating rule that the people of knowledge mention. But there is no hadith that says this distance, that. No. Wallahu alam. Jazakumullahu khairan. Inshallah, tomorrow will be the Q&A marathon. Inshallah, 90 seconds for each answer. Last week was 60 seconds. This will be 90 seconds. Inshallah. Wallahu alam.